You are muted.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Rajnikant Patel. I'm retired executive and author of children's books. I'll be the moderator today. Our format today will be that the speaker will introduce for the topic for 15 minutes. I will have question and answer with him for 15 minutes and open up the 30 minutes for question and answer. Let me introduce today's holistic inner science expert, Deepakanandji. Deepakanandji has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. He has several years of experience working in the industry. From the very childhood, he had an inclination to be celibate and always search of answers to the puzzles of everyday life. He received self-realization through the grace of self-realized holistic scientist Sri A.M. Patel in 1983. Since then, he has pursued his dream to work selflessly to spread the message of holistic inner science for the upliftment of the entire mankind and answering questions from people how to solve everyday life puzzles. He has devoted his life to studying holistic inner science and visiting rural areas and cities in India, UK, USA, Canada, Europe, Africa, Australia, New Zealand to spread the scientific understanding of the life through holistic inner science. He is an expert on holistic inner science and an interpersonal relationship. He also has attended many seminars and conferences. Welcome, Deepakanandji.
Thank you, Mr. Patel, for introducing me. And today's topic, ego, ego, ego. There is ego everywhere.
Before we go into that, I'll introduce the topic. But before that, introducing today's topic, we had some homework to be mindful that we are not hurting ourselves and others. So is there any feedback from anybody? Did anybody dwell on this for the last 2 weeks? If not, I will give my experience, Deepakanandji. You know,
sure.
Last time you dwelled on sufferer is at fault. And, you know, I was dwelling on that. And I find that during the course of a day, you know, we are suffering most of the time. In fact, my examples, okay, when we talk about other people, we suffer for it, then we talk about other people this way, that way, good, bad, okay? So that comes in our regular interaction. Regular vocabulary, we always have things like not good, I don't like it, I dislike it, this thing. So personally, I think that I'm suffering, and because of my suffering, I am talking like that. So is that the right correction, what I was doing, or is that, and of course, when I'm suffering, my interaction, I always give reaction of suffering to the other person, even though I don't realize I'm suffering and I don't realize I'm suffering the other person. So we can dwell a little bit on that before I'll introduce the note topic.
You're very true, absolutely correct. See, we all are living entities. We have body. Body have the 5 senses. And through the 5 senses, we perceive the world. We interact with the world. Now, because any situation is either you're going to feel good or you're going to feel bad. And those situations where you are neutral, nothing gets registered. So, holistic science has wonderfully said, life is nothing but suffering. So, in a way, you look around, we try to see, oh, this is animal, this is plant, these are creatures, these are human. But no, everything, everywhere you see, this is nothing but suffering only. So suffering is bound to be there, but holistic science peers further into it and ask you, because you come to know. So whether you suffered or you were aware of the suffering. So suffering is bound to be there, but how you handle suffering matters the most. And holistic inner science has a wonderful answer to every suffering. Okay?
Now, two questions related to that. Now, I'm happy. How can I be suffering? That's one thing. And what are two or three things that holistic science make us understand and not to suffer?
Very good. Number one, every happiness or every feeling, and we talk about happiness, when it comes, you feel good, but it's not going to stay forever. It's going to go. So when it goes, you're going to feel bad again. And that is why it is said as suffering that comes and goes. And holistic inner science makes you perceiver of this suffering, because we will see in today's session also, we have knowing functionality and action functionality. And we will see how holistic science has given wonderful answer to our permanent happiness, or rather we will say bliss amid happiness and pain of our life.
What are the one or two key points that I should be aware of when I'm criticizing somebody, talking bad about other people? I'm feeling bad anyway, and then I criticize and talk bad about other people. So, is there one or two points that I need to keep in mind, that to be aware that, hey, you are suffering, you're making others suffer?
One thing is there, nobody hurt you forever. Sometimes they hurt you, sometimes they help you. So when they do good to you, you like it.
Yes.
But when they do bad to you or you get hurt by them, then you feel bad. Now, why this cycle of happiness and pain? When you understand that, hey, who is doing all this? Nothing can come out of nothing. And after all, who is suffering? So when I come to know that who is suffering, then I forget seeing who made me suffer. Because it could be anyone. And if it comes from nature, like a falling fruit from a tree and you getting hurt, you never feel bad. You curse your destiny, your hard luck. That, oh, the fruit was going to fall, but what made me go to the tree and be under the tree and get hurt? So the factor of karma could be said as nothing comes from nothing. You cannot be suffering without a cause. And if you are suffering, that cause should have originated from you, within you only. So holistic inner science make you focus on you only.
Very good, very good. I think, in summary, what you're telling me that I had sown the seeds or had a cause, and I'm getting the effect. So it is me. I need to dwell into me, and I need to say, understand life is my own echo. So why am I suffering and why I'm making other people. Thank you very much. With that, we will introduce today's topic. Again, is happiness, 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 like you said. One of the people in the audience wants to live her life in happiness to relationship without ego. She thinks that happiness can be achieved without ego. Now, firstly, we need to understand what is ego in my mind, and what is the basis of my ego. Can we be ever free of ego? And how? And in an interaction, there are two egos always going to interplay. Even one ego is silent, there will be other ego on the other side. So is it possible to have an amicable solution in that one? With that one, I will leave it up to you to introduce this topic, and then we will have more questions.
Sure. So firstly, we'll try to understand what is ego. Ego is commonly resident within all humans without exception. The dictionary meaning of ego is the believed I or self of any person, a thinking, a feeling, and a conscious being that distinguishes himself as different from others. So this is the thing. Everyone believes themselves as I am something. I am a special person with unique capabilities. In the very demanding journey of our life, we all have inadvertently developed this psyche of ego wherein we keep boasting ourselves, our believed strength, and at the same time, we cunningly hide our weaknesses also. Now, it only depends upon how much flexible, adjustable, and positive your ego is, which would make your relation loving, caring, and amicable with them. And in today's difficult times, this ego is mostly stubborn, negative, and inconsiderate, making it very difficult for anyone to deal amicably with others. Consequently, in any relation, you name it, if it has to continue, then this nature of ego, I, must be positive, adjustable, trustworthy, honest, sincere, moral, and considerate, which, Lord Krishna had. Otherwise, his complexion was dark. His beauty was in his positive, caring, and happiness sharing ego. Further, let us understand what is the basis of this ego. Well, psychoanalysis says it is the conscious mind based on perception of the environment from our birth itself. That is, what circumstances we pass through and what we perceive. That's how the ego has developed. What it means, it is due to our life circumstances in which ignorance gets imparted from our surrounding people, from our birth itself, who are themselves ignorant. Had they been wise, they would have imparted wisdom of right understanding, which itself is knowledge. It is like those born in the families of self-realized parents who would give them name like others to their children, But they would also impart wisdom of right understanding and knowledge to their kids, naturally, because they are themselves self-realized. And such kids would naturally learn to be less egoistic, more humble, and at times even egoless as grown-ups. So you can say they are adjustable, amicable, humble, caring, and very considerate with their relations. So now, can we free ourselves from this ego in all our interactions, as you have asked, with all our relations? Since the answer is a definite yes, our next question naturally would be, how can we do that? Holistic inner science has all the answer. In our life situation, our common experience is sometimes we say, I know, and sometimes we say, I did. Here, holistic inner science says, knower and doer are always separate. They can never be the same. You see, the faculty of knowing and doing are always different in nature. The functionality of knowing is of the soul, and that of doing is of the body. One has the knowledge, another has the action. And it is also said that without knowledge of self, both both are egoisms only. So let us first understand egoism of doership and suffering as revealed by holistic inner science. See, in our life, everything just happens in the scheme of Mother Nature. When we succeed, we feel good and we strongly believe I did it. We take pride of success and claim its doership. At other times, when we fail, we conveniently blame others and feel miserably bad. Sometimes we even blame God for our failure. But as per holistic inner science, both are wrong. Claiming yourself or blaming others as doers is egoism of doership. This is blatantly wrong because in the nature, things just happen. So also you can say in certain situations when you ought to have pain, all your decisions, the help you get from others, you make you fail. And when you got to be happy, all your decisions and help you get from others make you succeed. And here we can say that our life situation is nothing but passing through situation of pain and situation of happiness. And here it is said pain and happiness both are suffering only. And this suffering are karmic results meant to be passed through in all our life, but we ignorantly believe I suffered. This is egoism of suffering because we become knowledgeable about our suffering. We become knowledgeable about our suffering, which is very important. And here, holistic science says with total conviction, egoism of doership, which we impose at times, is all because of ignorance of egoism of suffering only. I will repeat, egoism of doership is result of ignorance of egoism of suffering. If you don't suffer, you will never impose doership. When you like, you take the pride of doing. And when you feel bad, you want to put the blame on others. So here, as we know what holistic inner science has said, relations are mere obligations of give and take of this suffering only. In any relation, suffering is bound to occur. So You have to decide whether you want worldly happiness or want to get liberated. That is total freedom from this mundane world. Let us take, if you want to be, if you want worldly happiness, then follow this holistic science as world is your reflection, your echo. Whatever you give, you will get. So whatever you have given previously, you get it today. So whatever you want, you must start giving now. You want happiness, then start giving happiness. But for any reasons, if you cannot give happiness, then at least you can decide firmly to give happiness, come what may. And you will eventually get happiness abundant in nature. In fact, this is how the nature works. Here, what holistic science has gracefully revealed. So let it be academic or career in job or business or dealing with any close relations. Your success story of life solely depends upon how well you understand and use the principles of holistic science. The two fundamental principles are discrimination-free vision, that is feeling of oneness, and perfect humility, that is dealing with total humility with all. You can also use other supporting tools given by holistic science. So in any situation, look around. Who is suffering? Because sufferer is at fault. Those being our karmic results. Understand that whatever happened is just because the world is my reflection. And I must adjust everywhere and never complain if I want to get along with any situation, with any relation. We must take enough care not to procrastinate, not to delay, to avoid clashes, because I want to live together. If I'm living together, then I must see that I don't fight. I avoid clashes. No one likes clashes. So staying together and clashing is a big contradiction. And further, you can supplement this understanding and fortify yourself with positive visions of holistic science like, I don't want to hurt. You decide. You don't want to hurt any living being through your mind, speech, and body. Understand that these relations are glassware. You must handle with care. You must mind your words because they are expression of your ego. Today, the family constitution is like a garden, so, and not a farm. So you will find everyone different, uniquely different. Yes, but in this difference, they have some wonderful strengths also, which we must recognize and make use of it. But we keep harping on their weaknesses, and that is where we fail in our relation. Like live for happiness of others, and all your happiness will get fulfilled. Say every day, we all are one, there is no differences among us. You decide, and it will happen. And also, one very important point we must bear in mind, while doing good to one, we should not hurt others, because this is a contradiction, an open contradiction in the nature. And if we try to do good to one, but at the same time, if we are doing bad to others, hurting others, then in the nature, things don't get balanced. You have to answer for both. And here it says, don't see your perceived laws as correct. Just keep the goal of settling matters, because these are only temporary adjustments. World is relative, it's continuously changing. That's why it is said mundane world. So it is said, be honest to yourself and to all your relations, because dishonesty is the best foolishness. These are wonderful phrases, but it has a lot of understanding, and we must try to ponder on that. So it is said, failure always teaches you much, much more than success. But whatever you may come across, whether you fail or succeed, you are whole and so responsible for yourself. That's what holistic science says. So never find faults or ever complain for others. And when you decide to live with the inner understanding of holistic science, you will ultimately succeed, be happy, and be blissful. Further, in the normal conversation, it is said it is nothing but exchange of egos. And our words are expressions of ego, so we must take care of that. Further, we can say, in fact, a wonderful revelation by holistic inner science is for the basic activity of our body, ego plays a vital role for the functioning of our body, which is quite natural and common with all. But the unnatural part, here we want to focus. The unnatural part of our life and living is we try to rule others, we want to make others do things our way, which others don't like, and their ego gets hurt. This is commonly seen in all human interaction. Now, don't we do this to others? Doesn't this happen with us also? Others do on us, we keep doing to others, and no one is comfortable. Definitely, no one is comfortable. And whatever you want, we must first start giving. So stop controlling others. A wonderful saying, it's very common in the world, charity begins at home. So you start, stop controlling others. Now, for example, we want to highlight there are exceptions when we gladly accept instructions or commands from others whom we love, we respect, and have placed them at a very high level of trust. Rather, we trust them even more than ourselves. Like you trust your guru, you trust your parents, and we follow them with total devotion and integrity without any mistake, without any lapse. Here we never see any fault or have any complaint. They can tell you to do anything. Our ego never gets hurt over here. Now, just to take a contradiction, at workplaces and in armed forces, there is a basic discipline of following orders from the boss. In the armed forces, in fact, and especially during war times, if someone refuses to follow any order, the superior in command have orders to shoot on the spot, or one could be taken out and court-martialed. Whereas at workplaces, you may get fired if you refuse to take orders from your boss. So further we can think, we can analyze, like, is it necessary to understand the other person, analyze the other person? Yes, it is very much important and necessary to understand the other person's ego, the nature of his ego, for our amicable handling. Yes, here sometimes our evaluation can go wrong, but the factor of humility plays a very important role handling people. So here holistic science says try to use minimum word dealing with people, especially with egoistic person. And we must remember back of our mind, everyone has ego. It could be mild, it could be strong, but it is very difficult to find an egoless person. And you can say that only a fully enlightened person, a Jnani Purush, like holistic scientists, who are very humble and egoless, They are like living inanimate object, like a bag, for example. You keep the bag anywhere, you carry it anywhere. If you don't want, just discard it. The bag is not going to feel bad at all or will never complain. So this is how we have to become like that, like a living bag. But this is not impossible when we understand life science, that nothing happens from nothing. There is always a previous cause for any happening. But if you have known this science of holistic science, we will be able to handle any situation. And what is more important, this you decide and it happens is a very important science of life. You haven't decided, so things don't happen. Your decisions are contradictory. That's why things doesn't happen consistently. So here we can say people who are into this show today, it was their decision. Without their decision, they would not have been here. The place you are sitting, the clothes you're wearing, the family, the house you are living, it's all your decision. In fact, you can say our life happening are all results of our previous decisions only. So one way you can say, holistic science says, you are the maker of your destiny. So if you have decided one more thing in any relation, it suggests, holistic science suggests, decide not to have any hassles at home and avoid clashes. Then it won't happen at home. At times when you're furious and mad, then you will go and fight outside, have clashes outside your home. But at home, you will be nice. This is because you have decided. So such decision plays a very vital role. And further, what holistic science has given supporting tools like the 9 code of conduct, whose first code makes us resolve not to hurt anybody's ego through our mind, speech, and body. This will eventually, we will eventually learn to deal amicably with everyone, including people with strong and trickiest ego. So, with the help of holistic inner understanding, one can easily have a loving, happy, and sustained relationship. Holistic science is great. It is our life science. And in fact, we ourselves are living science. And if we understand this science, then we have no problem dealing with our own self and dealing with others very nicely. So,
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. This was a great introduction. I have a couple of questions, but I think we will go to the audience first before I ask.
sure, yes, 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 very much.
Go ahead, Kirtiban.
My question is, sometimes it still hurts when you try to be positive, when the situation around you that not going okay, and you think, how do you stay focused? How do you stay positive without hurting, but also making sure your point gets across? How do I?
Okay, let us see. Don't we have specific opinions and liking or disliking towards people, towards our relations? We do have. Sometimes we have prejudice also. Now, with this basis, these background feelings, however you may try to be positive, it will not work. But if you decide to be positive, you decide to adjust with the person, understand that however that person is bad, through my previous experience, I know that that person is bad, but keep in mind, after all, everyone is good. People, they do bad because of their bad circumstances. But if you want to deal positively, then first you must decide that I want to be positive. You see, your conviction, your decision plays a vital role in your life. If you are doing anything, it is because of your conviction and decision. So if you decide today that no, whatever happens, I want to deal amicably because I want to be happy. And if someone hurt you, it is because of your previous mistake due to which it is coming back. It is reflecting on you, your own echo. So you accept all suffering you get from others, especially painful suffering from others, because nothing comes from nothing. It cannot come to you without any mistake from your side. And you decide today that I want to be positive, I want to adjust, I will be amicable, I will be loving, then you will not have any problem. It will take time, but eventually you will succeed.
Okay, there's another question from Kanchan Bhai.
Sometimes, by knowing or unknowingly, we hurt people. If you do it knowingly, then you have a solution. But unknowingly, if you hurt somebody, and how do we, do the correction there?
Okay, let us take example. Nobody want to drop their milk glass or drop their watch or something valuable, something useful. But unknowingly, things happen. Unknowingly, you spill the milk, you drop your watch. What can you do? First thing, accept whatever has happened. And then what you can do in the situation, if it can be replenished, you can do that, get it repaired. Or if you cannot do anything, then just clean up. In the sense, feeling sorry for your mistakes is very important, and deciding not to do that again is again very, very important. Because whatever is happening is the result of your decision only. You decide to be careful, then you will remain careful in any situation of your life, handling relation, handling things, right? So the factor of correction lies in feeling sorry, heartily feeling sorry, asking for forgiveness, and resolving not to do it again. Although this seems very common, we say, oh, I know this, but no, we are talking wisdom. We should start living that wisdom. And when you start living that wisdom, you will start experiencing the result or outcome of that wisdom.
But if I never realized that I made a mistake or I hurt somebody, I never realized. How do I do the
Okay, you don't have to realize that, obviously, but the moment you suffer, that itself is an indication that something has gone wrong. And since you are suffering, you got to be responsible for that suffering. Although others play their part in the scheme of Mother Nature, but when you are suffering, there's no point in blaming others. They could be instrumental for your suffering, right?
Yes.
That is a very big thermometer.
Okay.
It's like if I am having temperature, however I may blame others, but I am having the fever and I have to attend to that. I have to take the medicine and get myself cured. If I'm having fever, I don't give those tablets to others, right?
Okay. Yes.
That's what.
Yeah, that's true.
How that fever has come is a separate story, but I have to resolve that problem within me by taking appropriate medication. In the same way, in any situation when we are suffering, we must have the right understanding and correct our mistakes, and then we would be free from all suffering.
Absolutely. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Rajni bhai.
You're welcome. Anybody else? There is another question from Manisha Ben. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just now said we are talking wisdom, not living wisdom. Can you please elaborate this a little bit?
See, in our life situations, uh, we we keep talking about good and bad, don't do this, don't do that. But then it is not there in our character, it is not there in our living aspect. Then is it, I say that I must do workout every day, I must go for walk every day. But if I'm not doing it, what is the meaning? It doesn't make any sense. So we don't need talking wisdom. We want living wisdom. So when you find when there is living wisdom, then you learn a lot from that just by seeing them, just by watching them, just by being with them. That's what matters.
How do we come to that state?
I'll give you one example, but a very, very bad example. Someone tells you, I love you so much, I love you so much, but then you don't see anything in the dealing, in how he deals with you or she deals with you. Then don't you think he's just talking? He's just talking, she's just talking. You don't see that in the interaction. So we must prove that through our living aspect. And that is what holistic science help us achieve that. When you decide, it will happen. But if you just keep talking, it won't make any difference. In fact, the living wisdom don't need to talk.
Hmm.
That's the best part of that wisdom. That when something is there in your character, in your nature, then you people see and they will learn. In fact, we have learned all those so-called bad things seeing others, not listening to others. But when we have seen, we learn. So the principle of as you see, so you learn plays a vital role in our life.
Right. We have been talking wisdom since ages.
Yes, very true. So now
But
we
this
must
is
pick
for the
up.
first time that we are thinking about living wisdom.
True.
True, very true, very true. And when you start living wisdom, you will understand there's no need to talk.
Yeah.
Then it is said, genius will start acting silently. That's what it is. There's a
When we are
phrase,
talking, it's a proof that we are not living.
not necessary, we can say, not necessary. But then when you are living that wisdom, you will need minimum words to express your wisdom.
Okay.
In few words, you will give so much. But if you are not a living wisdom, you will say so much, but you are not passing anything to the other person.
Very nice.
Yeah, that is it.
Any other question? Go ahead, Kanchan.
How does holistic science help to be egoless?
Right. First of all, as we have seen, holistic science identifies yourself as an entity which has come into this world due to a previous cause. So now you start laying fresh causes. And see, it will take little time, but that is not important. Whatever is happening to your life is due to a previous cause. You keep correcting them, keep feeling sorry for that, and decide that you want to do whatever positive understanding you want to achieve in life. And when you keep deciding and keep feeling sorry for all the wrong that is happening, what will remain is the right thing. Again, we are talking, but when we start living that, earning those quarters and uh, pennies, when you earn, then you will start enjoying that. We must start collecting those quarters and dollars, then eventually it will come in big numbers. But we must start.
Go
There
ahead,
must,
Kanchan.
there
I
should
have,
be
go
beginning.
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
To stay positive and also happy within yourself and also around society and family member. Staying closer, like singing spiritual songs, music, and staying closer to nature, that helps. How does that help? Or please explain.
Everything will help you, but first thing, all those negative opinions, negative ideas, prejudice you have for others, unless those are answered, those are resolved, this will help you like a temporary relief. But all those negativities which are resident within us, which we have gathered over, you can say, course of our life or over generations, that needs to be removed. Nobody has addressed that. Nobody has got rid of that. You must resolve that first. It's like if you want to fill the flask with good stuff, you first remove the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Without removing the bad stuff, you keep pouring, keep putting the good stuff. How is it going to help you? Okay, so first, okay, you keep doing that until you find the solution that will remove the bad stuff within you. This will help. Nothing goes, unnoticed. It is going to help you. But holistic science has a wonderful answer and solution to remove all these negativities within us.
How is
And
that?
when we are freed from all those negativities, yeah,
How is that? How do you get
cleaning
free
up,
from negativities?
cleaning up. You don't we clean up our house?
But
Yes.
how do we do that? How? Just look at the positiveness in the situation.
It's like I know I must work out, I know I must clean my room, but I just don't do that. I see the mess, oh, I need to clean up. I must do this. But till I don't do so, you start doing it.
So take action.
Start doing it. And you will see, oh, this looks so good. Yes, when you start it, you start getting results. And when you start getting results, you get a lot of motivation. That, okay, yes, it is giving me answer. It is giving me results. So that will, open your inner strength also.
Makes sense.
I'm saying start doing it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sir Lavin.
Yeah, our intention is not hurting anybody and live the wisely by the knowledge, but sometimes still making mistakes. Even though we don't want to hurt anybody, we just say the words and person get hurt around you.
Just let us analyze our life. Don't we take bath every day, irrespective of whether we are okay or not? We take bath every day. We wash our clothes every day or the other day. If you see those insects, those animals, all through the day, they keep cleaning up themselves. Don't we groom ourselves?
Right.
So what we say, we are doing things for our body. What are we doing for our mind, for our speech, which keep hurting others, mind that keeps thinking negative about others? We have to find a solution, and holistic science has this solution. And when we start using this solution, see, just recall. It is like you make an observation all day. What are all the negative things you are speaking?
Okay.
You keep note of that.
Right.
We conveniently give opinions towards or for anyone. So now, when you know that you are doing these mistakes, you will start correcting them naturally. But we are not aware of what we talk. The moment we say something, it has a very big impact in our being. It has a very strong impact on our being. So when you decide, I want to do this, say loudly. Okay, when nobody's around, then it will change. We have consciously or unknowingly, unconsciously, we have decided, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. And that's how, or that is the reason we are doing it. So now you decide, I don't want to do it, come what may. Then it will not happen. It will not happen. And feel sorry for all the mistakes that are committed. Whatever you remember, whatever you recollect, feel sorry for that and decide, I don't want to do it. Then, see, you are in this show because of your decision only. If you would have decided, no, I want to go out somewhere else, then you would have gone there. But your decision has brought you into this show in the same way you decide, and it will happen in your life.
Exactly.
It is a very important thing. Start moving.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it is very important, you must get that motivation. And that motivation you can only get from a living example, not from a talking wisdom. You will get that motivation only from living wisdom. So you don't have to go and check whether it is a talking wisdom or a living wisdom. You keep going, keep doing your job, and anywhere where there is living wisdom, you will get. It is natural. You don't have to go and find out that whether it is a talking or living. No. You keep doing your work. Somewhere you will find someone wherein is not a talking wisdom, is living wisdom. And then immediately it will start, bring that change into you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We had a good conversation. I'd like to summarize. We talked about life is suffering, and you discussed how to handle suffering. You talk about ego. We normally say, I am something. I am boasting my strength, and I hide my weaknesses. But you said ego must be positive, sincere, and considerate from the others. We need to be for egoless. You said we have to be humble, caring, and sharing. And you also said in life, just happens, but we apply our ego into the happenings, and then, of course, the result is suffering. Holistic science, inner science explains how to not to suffer. And some of the key points are, if you want happiness, give happiness to others. Be oneness, impartial, and humble are the key to egoless happiness relationship. Adjust everywhere. Avoid clashes. Have positive vision. Stop controlling others. And very importantly, in the end, decide to not want to hurt anybody, and decide, and then it will happen. And again, like you said, we have to move. Up till now, one of the audience said, we didn't think about this, we didn't do about this, but now I think you made a very excellent point that we have to be conscious and be moving on our goal. I really appreciate everybody attending, and I think today was a very excellent, lively interactions which brought out great points from our experiences, and we have learned a lot. And we like to thank Deepakanandji for taking time and waking up early, and Kritika and Niraben to wake up early and be a part of our talk.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me this opportunity of sharing my experience of holistic science. Thanks a lot.